They're not using Earth resources or the gene pool, but they're using sort of a mankind, human emotional energy, I think is how they refer to it down in the article. And I think it goes beyond that too. Not only mankind, but also all animals, all non-human creatures. They seem to even think, I don't know, back in the 60s, I'm sure you've read this, that, for example, dogs are in control of human beings. You've heard this idea before, that dogs are actually more in control of their masters than their masters are in control of them.
Maybe loosely. Maybe I've heard that.
Loosely. It's sort of a pop culture reference. Or it almost seems like a joke.
Yeah.
To think, oh yeah, well, you have this big rammy dog on the end of her leash that's moving you toward whatever it wants to go to.
I like that perspective. That's nice. Anyway, that's what you're alluding to with reference to this letter and this sentience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
It's something that they want. It's kind of hard to explain here because later on in the message, they start to think, or the author, or the narrator of this letter, is basically apprehensive and is looking for answers from everybody who reads this letter.
Yeah, well, here's a little backstory for everyone out in Radioland. Like the basic premise is that this sentience is not one that intervenes in human activity, simply because that's the code and the law of the cosmos. Let me see here. The new correspondent on UFO Radio, Sandy Fleming, she kind of put it this way. She said, when you have children, sometimes you have to let them fall down and scrape their knee to understand what the pain is to avoid it the next time, and you don't intervene. So she kind of takes the side that, and whoever this is that wrote the letter seems to say, we're not going to intervene, although if you ask us to come at this really turbulent and crux time, we will come, but you have to seek the answers within yourself and ask for us to arrive.
Right. They also mention that we have to fix our own political problems and find a state of peace on here in order to have that message. We have to have a state of peace on Earth in order to have that message truly, proliferated, truly spread around.
Right.
It would be, if you would think that a big media would pick up this letter and spread it everywhere, there would be a sort of unique type of cultural shock happening.
If it was legitimized, is that what you're saying?
At that point, it would be too late about making an honest choice. Because it would have this media spin or this government spin on it. So that's probably the number one reason why they don't intervene, is because they know how fragile human minds are and how, one person may believe this while the other person may believe that, and if you have someone telling them what to believe, then maybe both people will believe the same thing, but maybe they'll, fight each other to the end on their beliefs, right?
Right. I think that's one part of it, but of course the backstory for researchers and UFO heads out there, they understand that we've heard this message before from a bunch of different people, channelers and supposed alien messages, that they can't intervene. It's the cosmic code. Otherwise, they would have landed on the White House lawn and made things obvious. In this day and age, it's obvious to me that there is something happening. There are too many credible witnesses. All these things are going down. There's sightings of craft, stories of abductions. The great and late John Mack proposed these questions about abductions, and it wasn't whether a question of why this was happening or who it was, but that it was happening. So this letter very well could be legitimate. The point is here, what I'm getting to is that they're not really supposed to intervene.
Right.
So we have to make this conscious choice. I really dig this letter. I love the message that it puts across. That we're at this time in in our lives and in the cosmos, where our decisions now are critical, and it's not about the masses but at the individual. It was originally macroscopic, and now we're moving to the microscopic into one another and the whole life cycle and energy of the entire cosmos. I like the idea of the story. I kind of hope it's true. The end of this letter, Adam, I know that you want to get to it, but I just want to move on here. Is they're asking us, they're asking, if you want us to come, then ask us to come, but mean it and think about it before you make that decision, because this will change everything.
Don't be passive about it is basically what they're saying. They're saying be active about it. Tell us what you want.
Right.
The thing I find really interesting about this, and maybe call me a little more than, I think I'm a little more of a cynic in terms of this letter than you are, Justin, but at the same time, I do see, I don't know, there's a good point in this letter about searching for supreme being, for example.
Mm-hmm.
They liken themselves to us. They liken their way of life to us. They, our beliefs and what we strive for on a day-to-day sort of, on a day-to-day sort of level. Basically, what do we have to live for? What do we have to keep us further, to keep us going further, to keep us going ahead? They understand that we're on this path of our own, a human path, a strictly human path. But they have a different vision of universe and life than us. They want to expand that vision.
Well, to some of us have this, are quite in tune with the idea of this letter.
Right, no, of course. And basically, they can read our souls, is what they're saying. And if you believe that that we can help you and change you, we feel that belief. And you guys can cling to this, and we can hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, more people should be thinking that way, so we can have a very straight and clear answer as to whether you need us to come in here. Give me a hand, and we'll help raise the earth together, kind of thing.
Right.
I've seen a lot of Western movies and a lot of sword and sandal movies, and it seems to me this is it sounds almost like a Trojan horse.
You know what? I was just about to segue.
Envelope,
I was just about to segue into that, Adam. You pulled the words right from my mouth. I'm glad you got to that.
Because in the westerns and in those sword and sandal movies, you always find some wounded soldier with this great message of peace or of prosperity for this village, and it always turns out that he's some sort of spy or bad guy who lets in some other bad guys, and they rape and pillage and destroy the village in the meantime. Now, I'm not saying that there's any real evidence for that in this letter, but the letter itself could point to something like that if you were thinking critically about it, like we're trying to do here.
Yeah, exactamundo.
Yeah.
What's your final thought on the letter? Real, hoax?
I don't know. I think it's a safe letter. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a threatening letter. I don't think a lot of people would really latch onto it the way you and I would, for example. I mean, I know we have a vested interest in this stuff, but you give it to some regular Joe, and they might just think it's, right off the bat, they might think it's a fake. They might think,
well, look, that's
easy or have a hard time to reach that sort of, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's spared at no expense to, the government, the CIA, and the government funding, and corporations funding media so that they have their hands in the media pockets and downplaying the idea,
right.
This massive idea of the of extraterrestrial intelligence being out there in the cosmos and keeping us dumbed down to the point so that we're stuck in our routine and keep the wheel turning. And the reality is that you talk to any scientist with a credible sound mind, and he'll tell you, or she'll tell you, that the cosmos is teeming with life. It's undeniable.
It's undeniable, yeah. It would be selfish to think we're the only people or the only living, conscious, self-aware people in the universe. What's
disappointing is that all of this media seems to paint this picture of absurdity when it comes to this idea, and this is one of the greatest stories of our time, because it answers questions about who we are and where we belong in the cosmos, and it's just being poo-pooed, for lack of a better adjective there.
Well, yeah, it is. Because
this could be true.
Swept under the rug. Let me read you another paragraph from this here. And,
yeah, let's just do a quick one.
I found the most interesting paragraph in here because it made me think about these quote-unquote extraterrestrials in a different light than I normally would, and than I normally, or in the past have thought of them. It says, like billions others in this galaxy, we are conscious creatures that some name extraterrestrials, even though reality is subtler. There's no fundamental difference between you and us, save for the experience of certain stages of evolution. Like in any other structure, hierarchy exists in our internal relationships. Ours is based on the wisdom of several races. It is with the approval of this hierarchy that we turn to you. Like most of you, we are in the quest of the Supreme Being. Therefore, we are not gods or lesser gods, but virtually your equals in the cosmic brotherhood. Physically, we are somewhat different from you, but for most of us, humanoid-shaped.
Yeah.
It sort of plays into every, idea opposite of what we think of, when we think little green men. You think, sort of this sterile, otherworldly sort of being.
Well, alien for that.
Well, alien, yeah, I mean, alien.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, you and I could be aliens if we landed up on wherever, on the Pleiades or the,
Alpha Draconis, who knows?
We land in the Alpha Centauri system on some livable planet, and we say, take me to your leader or whatever.
Right.
Basically, what this letter is saying is that we'd be faced with the same type of humanoid that has the same type of beliefs, that has the same type of longings, spiritual longings, as we do.
Yeah, I like that point about the letter, too.
Yeah, I like that part of the letter because it made me think, aliens aren't out to get us. They might not be really here to help us right away or, really want to help us. But at least they're like us, It's a comforting thought to think, okay, well, sure, okay, there's aliens out there, but you know what? They're more like us than they're not.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. Look, I got it. We're going to take a quick little break here, and we're going to come back for more news on the Exopolitical Pulse. I'm Mr. Justin Brown, and this is the correspondent from up north, the wonderful and hairy Mr. Adam.
Thanks, Justin.
Experience the Caribbean and India without the airfare. Rani's Curry and Roti Shop serves up authentic Caribbean and Indian food. Rani's has all your favorites. Curried chicken, beef, mutton, goat, buttered chicken, chickpea and potato are all available in a roti wrap. Rani's is the real deal. It's real with imported ingredients and a deal with $5 lunch specials and a 10% student discount. So come on down to Rani's at 5280 Green Street, just off Queen, and experience authentic curry and roti for yourself.
Tune into Radio New America every week to count down CKDU's Top 30. Radio New America airs Mondays from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. on CKDU 88.1 FM or online at ckdu.ca.
Hello, this is Jose Gonzalez, and you're listening to CKDU on 88.1 FM Halifax.
How low were you willing to go before you reach all your selfish goals?
Okay, we're back here on the unified field with our new Exopolitical Pulse correspondent, the amazing Mr. Adam.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Not bad.
Good stuff.
Not bad. It's a beautiful sunny day up here in Port St. John. It's hot. It must be 30 degrees out.
Yeah, it's been really warm here lately too, humid too, close to that, about 26 to 29, if not 31, and on a day or two up this way. So anyway, I'm just loving this. I know the people listening will love this. By the way, I just want to say hello out there to Emma and her friend who sent an email to unifiedfield@gmail.com and told me how much she enjoys the program. So I'm glad. If you're listening, Emma, hello out there in Radioland. Adam, what else do you have for us there? What's new? What's going on?
Well, I've been doing a little bit of research and mostly trying to stay as current as I can. Maybe on some other show we can talk about the Highway 16 Bigfoot sightings and a couple other, found little nuggets from the north here.
Hold on.
In my travels and in my searches here,